From WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna, Seca, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 4 coverage of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle Season 17 Championship. Wojtek Podolczyk, his first Formula Neagle event was 12 seasons ago, June 28, 2015. In August of that same year and season, Podolczyk picked up his first and until last round, his only series victory. 4 years and 45 races later, he did it again, much to the delight of the fans and commentators alike, by getting to the checkered flag first at Barber. But in Formula Neagle, success is often short-lived because as season 17 marches its second into the second half of the season, Sami Toikala is still the man to catch. What will happen next? Find out now, as all the simulated Skippy action from green flag to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens right here on GSRC. From the state where everyone wishes the girls were from, hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. Way up in the press box to bring you our Words I Do, it's Adam Young, joined by yours truly, Bill Soups On. Sean Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Adam, today the series moves to one of the original content on iRacing. Tell us a little bit about Laguna Seca.
Well, Laguna Seca is one of those places that you just come here and you expect that you're going to slip and slide all over the place. And because it's dusty, it's dirty in places, and you're really going to see it with these Absolute Beginners League Skip Barber machines here for today. Of course, running 11 turns, 2.238 miles, 3.6 kilometers for those of you over the pond. And this layout's been in place since about 1988, when Formula One was trying to choose between Laguna Seca and Phoenix, and well, Phoenix won that out, and we all know what happened there. Well, needless to say, America didn't stay in Formula One for very long. Not a knock against Phoenix, it just probably would have worked out better at a track like this. So let's get a lap around this place in the Absolute Beginners League.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Laguna Seca. Coming up over the crest that is turn 1, you want to let the car drift right to line up the Andretti hairpin. This is probably the best place to get it past in with its nice, long, straight braking zone. It's got 2 apexes though, so diamond off the middle and just glance that second one. Then, bring the car over the left for turn 3. Not a lot of braking for this corner in a lesser powered car like this, but it's going to be tempting to get on the power too soon, causing it to understeer wide, so don't get greedy. From there, turn 4 is a big lift, and then use the lift throttle oversteer to get the car rotated. The more lined up you are for the exit, the sooner you can get on the gas, which is very important in what is pretty much a momentum car. Now, we approach turn 5, which has a lot of little secrets to finding speed. The camber and compression in this steep uphill climb is going to reward those that figure out how to chuck her in and reapply the power quickly. Up next, you've got the infamous turn 6. Give it a light brush on the brakes, use that lift throttle oversteer, and then slam that gas pedal down. You can see the uphill trudge isn't over, and every ounce of speed is critical to keep from going side by side into the notorious corkscrew. Aim for the brake marker at the crest, throw out the anchor, and get the car settled so you can turn into the first apex. Then pick yourself a reference point and shoot for the blind second apex. Before you know it, you're plunging through rainy curve. Lift and then balance the car on the throttle while trying to glance that late apex. Power down, switch left, and lightly brake to get the car turned into turn 10. There's a lot of banking through here, so carry your speed. Now, the final hairpin is your last best chance for an overtake, so being able to go late on the brakes here will be a valuable skill. If you manage not to overshoot it, it's just a matter of putting it flat to the floor all the way to the line so that you can finish your lap around Laguna Seca.
Nobody does it better than Joe Peak, and that is talking and taking the viewers around the racetrack. This time it's the road course here at Laguna Seca. Let me take you a lap around the point standings. We got 3 of them to look at. We're going to start with the F1 driver standings first. Okay, we talked about Sami Toikala. He's got a comfortable 15-point lead. Unfortunately, for all the Finnish fans out there, Toikala's not here today. That's a good opportunity then for Johan Vanderbilt to move up into the championship hunt. Unfortunately, for all the Dutch fans, Vanderbilt is not here either. Let's look at Neil Bamber. Hey, everybody in the UK. Yes, Bambi is here and only 16 points back. If he has a decent finish, there's enough points for him to be your point leader going into round number 5. He's tied with the German driver Ronald Grossman. Again, Grossman is missing today as summertime is having its effect. But if you're from Poland, he won last week and he is here today. We're talking about Wojciech Podolczak, 24 points back. Could make a run on Bamber if he does good. Let's go ahead and look at the team championships now. This is where you have, oh no, we're going to go to the F2 driver standings first. Sorry about that. And again, Wojciech Podolczak sits 5th in the overall standings. No surprise to see him at the top of these F2 standings. Ludwig Sauer coming off a championship last season, sitting in 2nd, only 6 points back with Cravo, Guerreros, and Neptune. Good to see Frederick doing so well down there in 5th, 15 points out of the lead. Now we'll go to the team championship, and this is where it gets kind of interesting. Lap 1 experts. Now, this is really 2 fast Finns. This is Toikla and Vascalampi, but neither one of them are here today, so they're not getting a lot of points. The Germans aren't here either. We know that Vanderbilt's not here. That opens up the door for Juhas Sole Racing Team. That's the sole lonely driver of Neil Bamber, going to try to move up a little bit. And then we're hoping to talk to Evolve Motorsports down there. You see a pair of Podolczaks. We're not sure if they're related or not. It would be really coincidental if they weren't, but we're not sure. We're going to find out. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to one of them in the post-race interviews. All right, that takes care of the 3 championships. Let's go over to Adam. He's going to talk about the race details.
Yeah, of course, season 17, they went to a uniform time as far as race distance. All the races are 40 minutes here this season. Round 4 of 6, there are no drops. So that kind of tells you how dominating a performance Toikla and Vascalampi had leading up to the last few races, which they have not made. I don't think we've seen them since Watkins Glen. So that's a couple races there, and they're still solidly in leads. So setups are open. They are reduced fuel they will see 1 stop here for today. And of course, there is a 17 incident cap, which here, Soup, is a possibility because it's very easy to put wheels off here. And that's part of the reason why the track likes to get so dirty.
This is my home state of California, and if you used iRacing as your travel guide, you would not want to come here when you have tracks to look at like Sonoma and Laguna Seca and even throw in Fontana. We do have foliage out here. We do have grass. We do have precipitation every once in a while, but based on those tracks, you would not want to come here as it is very dry. Adam, what's the weather look like today when we go racing?
Well, we'll get that pulled up here, and that weather here for today, it's a little bit on the warm side. Could be a little bit cooler, but still not bad for Laguna Seca. Track temperature 91. Winds won't be an issue out there here today.
All right, we've got all the business out of the way. Now we can turn our attention to the business on the track as qualifying has just begun. Greg Seitz sitting at the top. We're looking at the man sitting in 2nd right now, Ari Sejas, putting in a 1:44.9.
It's gonna be very interesting to see. Podolczak, he didn't have the greatest practice times out there, so it's gonna be interesting to see where he ends up. But right now, it moves him up to the provisional pole, but still a little bit slower than what he ran in practice. Of course, riding on board Ari Sejas right now. He's getting ready to come down. We'll see what he's able to put down. I think that lap time is going to be a little bit behind Podolczak, and Vincent Brim just took the provisional pole.
Good to see Vincent Brim racing for Two Stupid Dogs, the teammate of David Third Degree Burns. I'm not sure if even Burns is here today. Oh, David is here. He just hasn't put in a qualifying time yet. Burns might be your favorite. Ten drivers have put in qualifying times. You can see that on the tower to your left. Qualifying at some tracks not so important in the Skippy. Here at Laguna Seca, it's kind of a mixed bag, isn't it? You don't want to be too far back, but there are plenty of passing opportunities here, right, in the Skippy?
Yeah, you're able to get around. You got some drafting that you're able to do, and of course, a lot of the corners, you really only have really 3 slower corners. Outside of that, I mean, you're on the gas a lot, and so it's going to be a pretty wide open race. I think in a lot of ways, I think it's going to be pretty close. The big thing is that of course you're already sliding on a clean track. As the track gets dirtier as the race goes along, that's going to be when it's really going to be interesting. And we've already been seeing it in practice and qualifying as far as the sliding around, people going off track, and everything else.
If you're looking for a trouble corner, I don't know if this applies to everybody. For me, it is corner number 6, a corner that needs a name. They could actually call it Zon Corner because I have implanted my facial impressions on the walls here enough to have get this one named after me. It's a tough one. This left-hander, fast pace, going up the hill.
Yeah, and there's some cars in that turn 6 right there. You barely even blip the throttle getting down in there, and in the Skippy, you have to do a little bit more than that, but it's still tough because the margins right there are so small. And you put a wheel off, you're going really fast down the Rahal Straight leading up to the corkscrew. And even though you got a lot of runoff, you're still liable to hit something pretty hard.
Talk about the corkscrew. If you're unfamiliar with sim racing or guys, real racing in general, the corkscrew is really, if there's a corner that is all about feel, you turn into that one and you hope that the track is still there because you really don't know where you're going. We're light on board with Burns. David, third degree Burns, your defending champion. Not having the season he was hoping for.
Yeah, he's trying to get down his first timed lap rate here, and I think it's going to be close to the pole. Yeah, just a little bit off, about 0.2 off there. Jaume Dalmas Torres is right now is on the provisional pole. David Burns not able to steal that away.
A couple names we're a little bit familiar with. Jaume Torres, we know from other series. And of course, one driver we want to keep an eye on. Let's see if Luis Felipe Calderon, he's still out there in car number 18. We've seen him do some amazing stuff in the MX-5. Another underpowered car. He's out there sitting 4th right now on the chart.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to do anything here coming to the line. Ooh. Closing that gap is Jaume actually set a better lap right ahead of that. And Luis Calderon jumps David Burns as well. So Torres 1, Calderon 2.
Torres, no. I believe he's from the Iberian Peninsula. I believe he's Spanish. Calderon hails from South America. I get the country wrong if I guessed. It's not Brazil. I don't believe it's Brazil.
Another fast guy that we really haven't seen, Greg Seitz, just took over, leapfrog David Burns as well. He moved up into 3rd. I mean, he's shown some speed in both practice and qualifying here so far. In fact, he led practice by a good wide margin. So he's going to be an early favorite, I think, here today.
Burns moves up a spot. He moves up into P3. That sits Seitz, no pun intended, in 4th. Hey, can we look at car number 11? This is Nico Roman. Adam, you and I have called enough of these to remember Nico Roman. He's really up the charts here compared to what we usually see him at.
Of course, back in the day, he had the likes of Tuan Tran and all them to have to fight. So,
yeah. Yes, there were some big names. Of course, for many a season, the name of Errol Num just was crushing this season after season. Errol, if you're watching, we salute you. That's a pretty looking car. Who are we looking at there? Oh, that's a good one. That's Steven Stoyles. That's I'm going to tell my wife isn't when she watches this on replay, she's going to be pulling for that one. That's beautiful. Wow.
Side's getting faster now, moving up to P2 and really only about 300ths off of what Jaume put down. Frederick Neptune has not been able to put down a lap, and I think he went wide enough that he probably got an off track there going through turn 11. We'll see if it gave it to him or not. Is he able to get a time in? He is not, and I'm not sure if he got across the line in time before he beat the clock.
Checker flag comes out, so the driver's going to be allowed to finish up their hot lap. I'll tell you right now, it is refreshing to see open qualifying. I love open qualifying. Get them all out there. And if you can find yourself a little advantage in the tow, well, good for you.
See if Torres is able to better his time here at all.
Our pole sitter right now.
By about 500s, he was able to better his time. And he still got sights out there. In fact, he's getting ready to head to turn 10 here.
Okay, here he comes. This is the final left-hander. He'll be on the straight. He's got to knock off about 12 100ths of a second to get to the pole. And doesn't get there. It does get there.
Wow.
Does get there. Look at that.
Wow. Beat his previous time by 0.2, so big gain. See if Christopher Garris here is able to do anything. 38 proves a spot. See, okay, so it looks like Frederick Neptune was able to beat the clock. He's heading toward turn 11. We'll see if he can get a time in here.
18 drivers have put in time, so you want to get something and move up the chart a little bit. Here comes the series veteran.
So it looks like a good solid lap so far. Still only about 15th, but at least it's a time. As he decides to have a little bit of fun. But he was the last car out there. So, well, no, we still got Jaume out there. Well, he just drove it around. So there's nobody out there actually setting times.
19 drivers were able to put in times. 3 did not. Of those 3, I'm not sure if Michael Torpy is actually going to race with us. I think we're going to have a field of 21 here today. Let's go to the grid. We'll take it a row at a time. On the front row, you saw him better his time at the very end. That is Greg Seitz. He's going to be inside of Jaume Torres. Adam?
Looking at row 2, Luis Calderon will start third. Alongside him will be David Burns. Very, very strong front 2 rows.
Prettiest car on the track belongs to Stefan Stoyles. He'll start from 5th. He's flanked by Nico Roman.
Then row 4s can go to Vincent Brem and Neil Bammer.
Rob Adams is in 9th, coming off a win last time out, looking for 2 in a row. Wojciech Podacek in 10th.
In 11th spot behind Hocek, we got Ari Seahas. He'll start alongside Ludwig Sauer in row 6.
Might not be fast, but he always keeps the car on the track. We're talking about John Morgan in the Baker 7th spot. Josh Brain in 14th.
Josh Brain just dropped out with connection problems. Hopefully he's able to get back in here. Frederick Neptune will start right alongside Christopher Giros in row 8.
Lucas Palma in 17th. Our favorite safety car driver, Edgar Sansinelli, in 18th.
In row 10, you got Troy Banks and Mikhail Podacek. And Mikhail is not in the server right now. John Torpy, he didn't take the start last week when he was in the session. And we got Christian Grill out there as well. So that's going to round out the field. And we'll have to see who takes the field, who doesn't.
Torpy and Grill didn't put in a qualifying time. In fact, Torpy hasn't been out for practice or qualifying, but they both sit on the grid right now. So we'll see how that works for them. It's an interesting strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy. I believe that's the phrase.
Yeah, you got it right. Bold.
All right. You can hear the engines start to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover on the cows. The horses are out of the barn, and it is Greg Seitz leading the stampede down into the Andretti hairpin. Torres behind him, Calderon in 3rd. A little battle for 4th back there as they go 2 wide through Andretti hairpin. Stoyles gets the best of Burns, 4th and 5th.
Got one car off the track. That was Rob Adams. Everybody else able to get clean here so far, but they are running close back there.
Oh my goodness, there's going to be a problem. I knew there was. They were racing 3 close. Neil Bamber gets the worst of it. He goes off in the sand. I think he's going to be okay. It was a close battle with Wojciech Podolczek and Vincent Brame.
Oh, Luis Calderon is off the track. He just got loose going through Soup's favorite area, turn 5, and he is just kind of letting the field go by at this point.
It'll be fun to watch him work his way through the field. When the action slows down, we'll go ahead and review entire lap 1. We'll look at what happened to Bamber, and then we'll come back and tell you what happened to Calderon.
First bit of contact. Looks like Luis Palma and Christopher Giros, they went 3 wide with Neil Bamber, and those two came together leading into the corkscrew.
My goodness, Bamber had hopes of maybe being the points leader after this one, if he could get some decent points, but after an issue early on lap 1 and then later in lap 1.
Even Soils was sitting in the middle of the track. He lost it in the corkscrew. Somebody got into him.
Such a beautiful car, too. He comes back in 16th position. Again, we will review all of this lap 1 incidents when time allows. Soil falls back to 16th now. Let's go back up and look what's going on. This is seats ahead of Torres. Torres with 2 seconds back to Burns, who has Nico Roman behind him.
Cars having problems still all over the place. Add Frederick Neptune to the list of cars with problems. Neil Bamber got into Stoyles when he was around. John Morgan is now looped it in turn 11.
We work lap number 2. Things are beginning to settle down a bit. Wojciech Podolczek up 5 spots.
You know, this is how he did it at Barber, too. He avoided a lot of the chaos that happened in the first few laps of the race and just found himself in the right place to be able to take advantage of things, and that's exactly what he's doing here today.
Neil Bamber has managed to hang on in 10th position, having an eventful first lap.
And Seats and Torres, though, already doing their best to just check out. There's about a half second between them, but then you got to go a little ways back, about 2.5 seconds back, to find David Burns at this point. So they've got the little train going.
Burns is fast, but I thought 2.5 seconds is going to be hard for him to do. That gap is going to be tough to close. He's got Nico Roman behind him. The problem is Seats and Torres are really quick and really smart. I don't think they're going to slow each other down. Looking at P5, this is Wojciech Podolczek ahead of Vincent Brame.
Go to him right when he runs off the track. He's able to stay on. He doesn't lose any positions, though, but Vincent Brame was thinking about trying to do something.
Go back and look at the driver. We're right on board with the driver in 7th, looking up at Vincent Brame. Up the hill.
Oh, 11th place Edgar Sancinelli loses it going into turn 1.
More importantly than that, Podolczek has lost it as well. Through the corkscrew. He had worked his way up to 5th position. There's the replay on Palma. Podolczek is having more trouble. As we speak, he's put it in the sand. That looked like corner number 10, I think. Okay, now let's stay on this for a while. Here's the first one. Let's stay on it because it's not long. Once he gets it going, this just goes from bad to worse. It's got it going good. Now, just a few more corners down here. I think it's just the right-hander coming up. And he'll find the beach right here. Here we go. If not here, it'll be the next one. There he goes. Whee! So he was in 5th. He is now in 12th. And while all that was going on, did we have a pass for the lead? It was a gentle pass for the lead, but now Torres is ahead of Seats. I'll go back and see if it was worth looking at. Oh, it's just a nice little pass going down into the Andretti hairpin. Let's go ahead and look at it. Let's take a peek at it because we'll see. Let's tell us if Seats can return the favor here. That's basically how you do it. So that puts the South American driver out in front. Let me correct myself. That is the Spanish driver. Torres hailing from there. Seats one of the few American drivers in this series.
We got Ludwig Sauer now and Neil Bamber here. Bamber, after that crazy first lap, just trying to figure out a way to get around Ludwig.
These guys have raced together a lot of miles. Interesting, they have two different agendas. Sauer, an F2 driver, sitting second, looking to move up. Trails Potacek in the points. Bamber, well, he's races with the big boys, and he's sitting third. And without those guys in front of him, he would like to do well. I heard a crash somewhere. Sounds like somebody may have blown an engine. Steven Stoyle, yep. Boom. No matter how pretty you paint the car, if you blow the downshift.
Yeah, and he had the lap 1 incident where he got hit. He had another incident. He was also involved in the Ludwig Sauer, the Edgar Cincinelli incident. So just the combination between damage and downshift did that engine in.
We come back live. There's our two leaders, Torres and Seitz. We'll do a little steering the bus here from the commentator's chair. Director, are we able to go back to lap number 1, or is that not doable? Can we go back to the start? Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead now. We get the okay on this. Let's go ahead. And what I want to do, I want to start by looking at Bamber, and we'll catch the first couple incidents. We'll look at Bamber's incident live or on replay, and then we'll go ahead and look at the problem that Calderon had. We'll go back to the beginning. Here we come. We can pick up Neil. There you can see his issue. He comes off, he loses all. Now, if we can jump up to Calderon real quick, you'll find him well down the order currently. And that's what happened to Calderon. And that's Calderon, who is going to be a real contender. Qualified in 3rd. He's now back in 9th right now. And now we come back live looking at the South American driver, Luis Felipe Calderon. He's got about 3 seconds to get up to Bamber. And Director, let's jump up a spot. Let's look at that Bamber-Sawyer battle that Adam was looking at. This one's heating up. In fact, here it comes. And that's Neil making the pass in corner number 11. Let's go ahead and look at this one, because this has a nice little pass into 11, and it also has championship ramifications here.
Go
ahead.
I was saying, going back to the F2 standings and all that, go ask Hocek about the F2 standings and what they mean to him right now. I mean, he's leading the F2. He's top 5 in the main standings and with the race wins. So Neil Bamber would like to have himself one of those too. And of course, Neil Bamber racing with everybody else. That Ludwig Sauer would love to have one of those and move up in the F2 standings as well.
Going to go right on board with the driver sitting in second right now. Boy, he is on Taurus like tighter than a new pair of shoes on a rainy day. Through the corkscrew, one little mistake from Taurus and Sight will be there.
Here in
Troy Banks, who was racing in 12th, has had a problem. He's going to lose 2 spots. I don't think he hit anything. This is the right-hander.
I think he just kind of looped it.
Boy, but it was a long time. He looped it, and then for good measure, he looped it again.
Well,
Loses the spot to Palma and Morgan.
Ludwig Sauer has now fallen back into the clutches of Luis Calderon, who, of course, was on that recovery drive after his eventful lap 1. So, let's see if he's able to get it going down into turn 2 here. Down in Andretti. Almost going wheel to wheel. Everybody stays off each other. Can't quite complete the pass just yet.
Calderon on him. Probably not the worst thing for Sawyer to let Calderon get through. If he can hang on to the back of him, he might be able to pull him up. Although he wasn't able to hang, I'm talking about Sauer, was not able to hang on the back of Bamber. Bamber made that pass, he's pulled away. In fact, Neil's starting to close in on the battle for 5th with Brame and Seja. So a lot of interesting stories going on right now. Let's watch this one, though. Here comes Calderon. Really wants it. I'm going to jump away from this. Our director has found this. We're going to go, because this is more important. Let's go up to Taurus and Sights.
Yeah, Sights is all over the rear wing of Taurus here.
This is not a follow the leader type thing. Sights really seems either like he's trying to annoy Taurus. This will tell us a lot if he's in the tow, if he actually forces the issue down into corner number 2. Corner number 1 is really not much of a corner here.
These guys have driven away to over 6 seconds, almost 7 seconds on David Burns and Nico Roman. So not only are they fighting, but they're setting some really good lap times as well.
But he took a peek to the outside. It wasn't like he stayed behind. He made a little move, but wasn't able to get around Taurus. There is a battle for, you can see it on your tower there. If you look at this in timing and score, you can see the battles. We look at this battle between Taurus and Sights. And again, Sights is there, and he waits. Maybe he knows there's a pit stop to come. He doesn't need to do it. So there's that battle. There's the Burns and Roman battle, which is really not so much. Uh-oh. Calderon just had an issue, and I'll be darned, he made it around Sawyer, spun right in front of Sawyer, and Ludwig had nowhere to go. Oh my goodness.
This is what we're talking about, just so slick. I mean, he just puts one wheel off, and it sparked that. Tried to hang on, and like you said, Ludwig just had nowhere to go. And Luis Calderon is out as well, so taking its toll. Laguna Seca taking its toll.
We're going to ride on board with Ludwig Sauer. You be the driver. You decide to go right or left. Boy, it looks like you have plenty of time. This looks open. Nope. Pit stop time for our leader. Well, one of the leaders.
I think Sights is going with the I'm going to pass him on pit road mentality here. We're within the window to make it to the end of the race now, so.
What Sights has to worry about with this early peel is coming out in traffic. I guess with the size of the field, only 20 cars taking the grid has a better chance of not getting up and stuff. In fact, when he does come out, he'll have clear track in front of him.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be pretty good. I don't think Hocek is going to get up to him here.
I think you're right, Em. I think Sights, I think he felt he was just enough fast enough to go ahead and do the undercut. Of course, now he'll be racing with a little heavier car than Taurus has. Here's Taurus all by himself now.
See, I think that'll be all right because I think he peaked in his speed, um, about 4 or 5 laps ago, and then they were running 35s pretty quickly into that stint. So I think he's going to be back up to speed here and in contention with what Torres is able to do fairly quickly.
He is racing Seitz, who is currently in 7th position, 28.5 seconds behind. Seitz, the only one of our big names to pit. Shades of Errol Numb, right, Adam? We've done a lot of these. Errol was notorious for coming in early.
Right.
Another problem for Banks. I don't know if we need to. Banks was racing down in 12th. He's had a rough day. He continues. Well, he's up to 9th now. Let's go to director if you can. We'll take a peek at it. Sure Troy's fan club will appreciate this.
Just went into turn 5 a little hot and put her in the tires. And he's called it a day. Probably wasn't any fixing that anyway.
Didn't realize it was as serious as it was. I'm glad we went there. Chance for all those drivers behind him to vulture a few spots. And
back on Torres. Coming out of turn 9, heading to turn 10. He's going to go at least I'm thinking he's going to go around at least more time. I think he's banking too that he's going to be able to set some quick times as well. So without the pressure of having seats on the back of him here. So it'll be interesting.
Director, let's quickly go to car number 177, racing in 11th position. This is a do-nothing, a no reason to go here other than I like what John Morgan does. He races clean. He always finishes higher than he starts. Started in 13th, racing in 11th. He'll get himself a top 10 by the time this is over.
The crazy part about it is, he could very well have been almost like 7th, maybe even 6th position if he hadn't had that self-spin right toward the beginning of the race. That's been the only time I've seen John Morgan mess up. But even then, he's higher up than what he started.
Another pit stop. This is from Vincent Brame. Seitz goes around him. I think Brame is going to get out comfortably as our second driver to pit, and he does. He cycles out in 9th. What is interesting is Torres now. Let's look at the interval between him and Seitz. I think he's 28.6, so it's close. I don't think it's so much pace on the track that's going to be the difference. It's going to be pit stop times.
Yeah, and the last time around, Seitz was 0.2 of a second faster than what Torres was. So he's already setting faster lap times.
Look what our director has done. My goodness. There's your gap from Seitz back to, or from Torres back to Seitz. I love our new toys here on GSRC. I love them. Boy, Seitz time in comparison, I'm just looking at the times that guys have. Bream was in there for 15 seconds. Seitz was 11.5. I wish I had some more pit stop times to compare that to. Can't imagine stops any faster than 11.5 seconds. Now, David Burns sits in second. We talked about battles that were going on. Burns was being followed by Nico Roman, which I was giving Roman a lot of credit for being able to stay with the defending champion. Well, Third Degree has opened up a 2-second gap now back to Roman. The interesting one, though, if we can move back to 4th position, Ari Seha, we talked about this. Neil Bamber is on the come here. Only a second back as they work through 6 and up to the corkscrew. Folks, I'm telling you, I think there is enough points for 5th position for Bambi, without the guys in front of him being here today, for Neil to actually be your points leader going into round 5.
Just got to play it safe, I think.
Yep. Now, right behind Bamber, about 10 seconds back, is Sights. So Sights is going to jump him. Wow, that was an early stop for Sights, wasn't it, Adam? I mean, he came in, nobody's coming in. He had
did,
no traffic in front of him, though.
But I, from what I was seeing earlier, I think that's still within the pit window. So I don't think he has any kind of worries about fuel or anything like that. And it really worked out because he ended up in clean traffic. And look at that, Neil Bamber is right there on Seahawks.
Yeah, he was coming. He really got there faster than even I thought he was going to do. Now about 3 car lanes back. Of course, pit stops are coming. 18 minutes plus of racing to go. This has been an entertaining one, and there's a race going on right now that it's hard to show you because one driver, I'm talking about Taurus, he's in 1st, and Sights is in 6th. They continue to race each other even though they're on opposite sides of the track. Oh, Neil gets a little bit dusty, but he's able to keep it on.
And Neil needs to be careful with that. I mean, that would jeopardize taking over the points lead for sure.
Yeah, it is a risk versus reward type thing going on here. Yes, there are some points if you can get around Sejas, but 5th place points would be so nice compared to what would happen if he made another mistake. And Bamber has already dodged a couple bullets. Oh, it's time for Neil to make a pit stop. That's how we'll make the pass.
Yeah. Get him on pit road. Why not? There are no. By the way, just for Neil's sake, there are no cars 1 lap down. The closest that you go from Frederick Neptune, last car in the lead lap, to Christopher Giros 2 laps down, and so you could stand to possibly drop back to 15th or even 16th position. I think at this point with everybody that we've had drop out, so you definitely want to try to preserve the car.
Now, as expected, Sights rolls by, but this stop is going to be important because it's going to tell me how legitimate Sights actually pit stop was. Bamber was in there for 13.8, Sights 11.5, so it continues, that 11.5 continues to be very impressive.
Vincent Brem going around Neil Bamber here. Neil has to take that inside pit exit row. He's going to come out just in front of Vincent Brem.
And that's a good thing, even though that is a battle for 8th position. It's a little bit of a faux battle because Brem still needs to make his stop. No, he doesn't. I apologize. That is a battle for position. Look back at Vincent Brem. So Brem's stop was 15 seconds. Bamber's was 13. Sights 11.
Now that part makes me a little worried.
Yeah. You talk about there shouldn't be a problem for fuel for Sights, and that is true, unless he really short filled.
Where's Piers at?
Pierce Cocky, of course, with the nickname Short Field. We haven't seen Pierce for a while. Again, Mr. Cocky, if you're watching, hope you're enjoying the show. We ride on board with this battle. Oh my goodness, Vincent Brem is really putting on the pressure.
Check is going in the pit road.
He's going to get a decent points day. He rolls out. Looks like he's going to cycle out in about maybe 10th when it's all said and done. Should. Falling out of orbit is Fred Neptune as he comes in for his pit stop. another veteran of this series. While all these stops are being made, one driver who is going around one more time is our leader, Director, can we bring up one of those lap comparison? I think this is going to tell us some stuff between Taurus and Sites. I believe Taurus is faster. I'm looking at the interval here, and I think that Taurus is going to be little by little opening up the gap.
See, if he is, that's a change, because at the beginning of the run, Sights was definitely on the good side of it, so that must have changed as the run went along.
There you go. You can see that Sights a little slower, especially on lap number 14.
Yeah, something happened there.
Yeah. We are currently on lap number 17. They're going on.
In fact, looking at it, the overall interval a few laps ago was 28 seconds for Torres back to Sights, and now it's like 30.6.
Could be a couple things. Torres could be picking up the pace. Sights could have had a problem, or maybe Sights realizes that they'll be kind of short on fuel. All right, Torres is in. This will be interesting. How long will this pit stop be? Where will he cycle out in relation to Sights, who is in 4th right now? Sights just getting to the corkscrew as I speak. Down he goes, left to right. Torres finding his box right. It's the last one. No, second to last one. Don't go to the last one. He finds it. Sights out of the final corner, but it's a long front straight. Torres is rolling. His stop, 12.2, 0.7 of a second faster than Sights.
I have a feeling that 1 second difference on lap 14 is going to be all the difference in the world right here. And sure enough, I think that's about a second difference. I could be a little bit wrong.
Just a tick under 2 is what I'm showing, but Sights has them in Sights.
See what you did there, Soup. Joe has you beat, though. He was going on a Post-it note joke string earlier today.
There is not. He's in a different league when it comes to the fun war than anybody here at GSRC. Okay, everybody has made their stop now, so this gives us an opportunity to run through the field. How about we do it 5 at a time? I'll take the first 5. Here we go. The Spaniard, Jaume Torres. Oh, I'm going to correct myself again. I'm going to just assume he's from Portugal, because Jaume sounds like a Portuguese name. Out in front. And look at this. He's opened up almost 4 seconds on Sights. Sights, our pole sitter, he's got some work to do. Good news for Sights is he only needs to look one direction, and that is ahead, because Burns is 9 seconds back in 3rd. David, all by himself. Early on, he had Nico Roman on his tailpipe. That's not the case anymore. Nico had fallen off. In fact, Nico has some issues now. Neil Bamber, after the pit stop, about 1.6 seconds back and coming. So a nice battle going on for 5th. Adam, who you got after that?
Yeah, 6th position is going to be Ari Sejas, and Ari has been able to avoid trouble for the most part. And then Vincent Brim has now moved in the 6th position. Let's see what happened to Ari there. Maybe he came down the road. Started in 7th position, up 1 spot. Of course, he had a little bit of trouble at the beginning. You see him sliding right there through turn 2. Going back 1, there is Ari Sejas, now back in 7th position. So he lost that position there to Vincent Brim on the last lap. Of course, he's up a few spots. His race has been not as exciting as what Vincent Brim and the next guys has been, but still been able to avoid most of the trouble. Now, Hocek Podacek. Now, here's a guy, he's spun it once, he's been off track a few times, and still managing to hang on to 8th position and just making up for the trouble by a very, very clean second half of the race, with the exception of a wheel or two going off here or there. And then going back behind him, we find Christian Gruhl. Christian has you know, another one of those guys, we haven't talked a lot about him here in this race, and it's probably been a good thing for Christian, is he has, you know, been able to you know, stay quiet, be able to work himself up from 22nd position. So great run from him. And to round out the top 10, we've got John Morgan, one of Soup's favorite guys. He knows how to stay out of trouble. Did have a little bit of trouble earlier on, but he's been able to recover from that and running in the top 10.
I'll do one more because he's just in front of the leader. This is Lucas Palma. He's on the lead lap. Not sure how long that is going to stay a true statement, because here comes Jaume Torres. And that is the 11 cars that are on the lead lap. 11 for now. You can see over there Frederick Neptune and Christopher Garros, all multiple laps down. Well, Neptune 1 lap down, Garros 3 laps down. Still racing, though. Let's go ahead and watch Jaume Torres and see how he deals with the lap traffic. Oh, he's already done it. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Woo. Oh, my goodness.
Man, Seitz has just not had a good run of it since he got out of his pits. Torres, ever since Torres pitted and got out in front of him, I mean, it's just 8 seconds now as far as the gap. I mean, when he came out, it was 4 seconds, so he's already doubled that.
You're watching the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle. It's their 17th season. We've been here since season 5. That is us. We are the Global SimRacing Channel. Glad you're watching.
And I've gone back and I've looked at the last few laps that Seitz has ran, and they've just been slow. He hadn't even put a wheel off. I'm wondering if he's starting to catch on, and maybe he didn't put enough fuel in the car.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility.
I mean, he's running consistent and clean. He's just not getting on the throttle out of the corners. Short shifting, I can hear it. I mean, he's saving fuel.
Hopefully he'll have enough to actually get to the end. Take a listen as we ride on board.
Just listen to how gentle he is on the throttle coming out of the corners.
Took a second to look up Jaume Torres to see if in his biography if he listed if he was from Spain or Portugal. He does not say. So we'll have to wait till the interview.
Well, things keep on going like this for Seitz. He's going to have David Burns crawling up his back wing here in just a little bit. I mean, you can already see David Burns getting into the picture frame at times. So he's about coming out there 6 seconds to gain on him. But the way that Seitz is bleeding time right now, saving gas, that's a concern. He still wants to try to get that podium spot.
Seitz is in this interesting situation where if he would race full song, he has a big enough lead where he could actually come in, splash and go, and maybe only lose a spot to Burns. Worst case scenario is to go slow and still not be able to get there. Here comes Burns. Can he see him? He just has a peek of him there. 6 seconds between the two. The real battle to watch is the one that's coming with Neil Bamber. He's been climbing and clawing on Nico Roman. Roman having a good run. He's been right here the entire time, racing 4th or 5th. Here comes Bamber. If you remember, after the pit stops, Bamber came out right next to Vincent Bream. Well, he's left Bream behind. Now they head towards the corkscrew where anything can happen. Down they go. one of the best battles on the track. 10 cars on the lead lap, John Morgan being the last of them. Morgan is about 7 seconds up on Torres with only 4 minutes to go. I think that John's going to be safe to finish on the lead lap. Love that camera shot there. Oh, and this one too. Love these low angle shots that Dougie Beard gives us. Don't think Neil is close enough to do anything here.
Not yet. He's inching his way in there for sure. But, you know, in a situation like that, you know, all it's going to take is just Nico to put one wheel off and have one bad corner. He's going to be right there. Speaking of wheel off, there he goes.
They will be coming up on the lapped car of Frederick Neptune, who's going to get 12th position points for him. Pretty good points day when you're a lap down. So our storylines are Jaume Torres comfortably in the lead. Greg Seitz, the American driver, does he have enough fuel to get to the end and hold off David Burns? Will Neil Bamber get to Nico Roman with only just a tick under 3 minutes of racing to go? There's our leader. The car in front of him is John Morgan. Again, I'm thinking that gap now about 5 seconds between Morgan and Torres. Of course, timing and scoring won't show it that way. Timing and scoring shows it as a minute 30 that Morgan is behind Torres. We can figure lap times at 1:35. Do the math. And Torres is on the penultimate lap. This, and then he'll see the white flag next time around. And we'll call it a day here at Laguna Seca. When you add up all the points and you come back for round number 5, I think we're going to see a new points leader, unless something goes south for Bambi. Neil Bamber going to be at the top of the charts. Let's go ahead down and look at 5th right now, because they come up on the back of Frederick Neptune. Lap traffic always plays a factor in these. I'll tell you this, though, Frederick Neptune, a veteran of this series, that's how you do it. Tip of the hat to Frederick Neptune for a good job of letting guys get out of the way. I don't think Neil has enough to get to Nico Roman. What a great run from Nico.
Not at this point. Nico's actually started to stretch away a little bit from here the last few laps. I mean, not by much, but a little. You know, 10th here, 10th there.
Look at Roman as our leader has seen the white flag now. Good run from Nico. A couple guys that probably haven't got the attention that they deserve. Nico Roman, we'll take a look at him. And before this race is over, how about we give a little shout out to the driver in 7th, Ari Seha. There we go, a good run from him, up 4 spots. As he comes out of the final corner, he'll see the white flag. All of this going on behind Jaume Damasis Torres. Place your bets, boys and girls. Is he from Spain? Is he from Portugal? I am going now with Portugal. We'll find out. He'll come in and talk to us. We've talked to Jaume before. Seitz is in 2nd position. Got 6 seconds up on Burns. Plenty of time. The question is, does the American driver have enough to get to the checkered flag? And I'm talking about enough. I'm talking fuel.
And I think Torres is going to catch John Morgan here coming to the line.
1 corner to go for John Morgan to finish on the lead lap. I'm a Jaume Torres fan, but that was just cruel to a back marker. Here he comes to the checkered flag. Jaume Torres picks up the round 4 win here in the Formula Neagle. We think that Greg Seitz is going to get there. He's finished that corner. He's got enough to get there. Burns will get third. Try as he might, Neil Bamber could not get to Nico Roma, but he'll still pick up a good points haul in fifth. And 9 cars on the lead lap. Rain. We saw Ari Sejas before. Coming off a win last round, he wasn't able to double up with the Polish driver, Wojciech Podacek, out of the corner number 11. Unless something bizarre happens in the next 15 seconds, actually 10 seconds, Podacek should get 8th position. And the last car on the lead lap, Christian Grill. And there you have it. That was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it. The racing's over. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment to run down the entire order, talk to some of the drivers, find out if Torres is indeed from Spain or Portugal. Then before we put a lock on the gate, back in a few. Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League from WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Welcome back to GSRC's Round 4 coverage of the Season 17 Formula Neagle Championship. The results are in. Let's give them to you now. He started on the outside of row 1. He had an early battle with brake sights. Pit stop strategy and pace is going to earn Jaume Torres the win. Brake sights, the American driver, one of the few in this series, will have to settle for second, but he was able to get it to the end on one tank of fuel, or one stop at least. David Burns will settle for third. Great run from Nico Roman. Love to see him do well. Started in 6th, up 2 spots in 4th. Neil Bamber, who this commentator believes will be at the top of the point standings when we come back for round 5. Bambi gets 5th. Vincent Bream and Ari Sejas go 6th and 7th. Coming off a win last time, Wojciech Podacek follows it up with an 8th place finish ahead of Christian Goulet. And rounding out your top 10, just finishing off the lead lap by 1 corner, is Mr. Clean, John Morgan. Adam?
Yeah, Frederick Neptune will bring it home in 11th. Christopher Garros in 12th position. And the rest of these guys, I don't believe finished. Lucas Palma was the last retiree, 4 laps down. Josh Brain, Troy Banks, Luis Calderon, who at the start of the race looked like it might be promising for him, but it went belly up pretty quick. 16th, 17th, same for Loic Sauer. Stephen Stoyles, 18th position. 19th went to John Torby, who fought connection issues. Edgar Sancinelli brought it home in 20th, and I'll round it out here, Soup. Rob Adams took the green, but he was one of the first retirees of the race. Mikhail Podacek did not take the green flag.
And I get the pleasure of talking to David Third Degree Burns, who came home with the podium finish here today. David, a little exciting on the first lap there as you saw one of the drivers that we thought was going to be really competitive. Luis Felipe Calderon had a big off. You were able to vulture a position, and then this is you and Nico Roman for most of the race.
Yeah, to be honest, it felt like a very familiar race when the two in front of you disappear and you know that the guys in front are far too fast for you to catch. I knew there was no chance of catching them, so it was just nice to actually finish a race this season. Yes.
We talked about it, boy. The difference is your success or lack of success this season based on the car change? That's kind of my take.
I think the lack of success is me, Soup, and that's usually the common factor. No, technical issues last race with the clutch pedal, and yes, getting used to the car.
It was fun. You had a nice race. Any close calls for you? It seemed like you were pretty smooth for this one. You talked about bringing it home. I don't think you had any issues.
Well, would you believe I actually had a slight technical issue? I've got a new VR headset, and it has a button on it that if you accidentally press it, it brings up a screen. So I did that in the middle of a corner. I did scream like a girl. Luckily, I held it though. But yeah, no major issues. I'm getting used to the Skippy tire model now.
All right, well, a good points day for you. Let's see how your teammate. Hey, two stupid dogs might find themselves in the run here again. Vincent Brame had a nice run down in 6th, so you guys scored some points.
Yeah, I know. He actually said I finished 6th, and I went, really? And I went, oh no, I didn't mean to sound so surprised. No, that's great. Yeah, no, it's good result.
All right, always a pleasure to talk with you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for that.
David Third Degree Burns, our third place finisher today, and always a good interview. Adam, it looks like that's it, right? I don't see anybody else brave enough to come in and talk. You're scaring them away, man. They didn't want to talk to you.
Apparently, I guess that's the case. So I guess we could wrap it up.
Adam's a good guy, guys. Don't be scared to come in and talk to Adams. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and tell you who made this thing possible. Let's go ahead and start with everybody at the Absolute Beginner. As my script will not come up for me, so I'll do this by memory. Everybody at the ABL for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast. If Adam wants to jump in and do the closing, I would appreciate it. Also, thanks to the company's equipment and software that we use to bring you this broadcast. You see those on the screen right now. If you want to know when we're going to come back next time, we're going to be back in 2 weeks. That's going to be round number 5, and I'll do this by memory. I think we're going to Imola. There we go. Going to Imola. If you want more information about Global SimRacing Channel, well, your choices are Global SimRacing Channel, or we're on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Doing this all by memory. So far, so good. How about June Lalonde? She provides our music. I'm out of order, but if you want to contact her, you know how to do it. All right, I think that's it. Thanks to everybody who made this possible on the crew. That would be Adam, Sean, and Dougie. And with that said, we'd like to thank you for watching, as we did indeed see Jaume Torres get the win here, round number 4 from Laguna Seca. I know the next part by heart. We're going to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.